It's not about how good you cook. It's also about how you can connect.
And those are stories that I think I'm sort of hunting down for. Hey guys, what's up? I'm Sandili welcoming you to That Gen Z Show, a show by the Gen Z for the Gen Z powered by Clymbe. Clymbe is a career discovery platform that has an entirely new approach to boring and cliche aptitude tests. It not only helps you find your ikigai but also lets you experience a first hand feel through externships. Yes, you heard me right. Externships, not internships. Externships are those that add an X factor to your future dream career. So if the major question hits you, I don't know what I'm going to do in the future, remember, Climb has got your back to help you get clarity. This year-long journey is going to take you a step closer to your future dream career. So as I promised, I'm back with Chef Varun Inamdar and we have a lot to catch up on from yesterday's amazing conversation. Let's go.
Years passed by, Mumbai came under the attacks, and 2010 is when Barack Obama came back to Mumbai city. And he walked into the hotel, and I was very clearly told by my management that you are not to be seen anywhere around. So thank you very much. You can go, you can chill in your executive lockers. You don't need to come out because of the whole ruckus that you apparently created a few years back. As luck may have it, Mr. Obama walks into the property and he looks towards his left and he says, "Is Varun still around? Does he still work here?" So that one statement kind of changed my entire graph, because suddenly from Varun not to be seen, Varun had to be seen.
Correct.
So the entire hotel management went helter-skelter looking for me, because of course I was not in the locker room. I was chilling somewhere in the cafeteria with my staff.
Yeah.
Everybody came running, and of course those were not the times where you could have a WhatsApp and you could just WhatsApp and say, "Hey, listen, we need you here." We had these pagers, so you had to send this little one page which was literally like a telegram, which said, "Need you in the lobby, urgent, run." You know, so it was like that. It was that kind, and we used to all have it by our waist. But I had it in the lockers because of course I was not required for the day, so why should I kind of load my waist? So I disappeared. Suddenly, like 15-20 people looking for me, and they said, "Jaldi chal, jaldi chal, jaldi chal. Upar bawal ho gaya, upar bawal ho gaya." Like, you know, the very typical Mumbai slang.
Yeah.
Of course, rushed up. I thought maybe something happened. I don't know what happened, because nobody told me that the Obamas have asked for you. So I came and I kind of stood in front of my boss, and he said, listen, you have to be quiet. You don't talk too much. You have to just listen to everything. You know, the kind of brief that anybody would give anybody.
Yeah.
So I said, ha, 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 ha. The moment I walked in front of the Obama, in front of Barack Obama, he just came and he hugged me and said, "My friend, how have you been?" And the entire hotel kind of just, you know, freezes, because this is like the moment. So it's like that, you know, so it's all destined, but it's all something that, you know, you kind of calibrate it on an emotional level somewhere.
Yeah.
And I think that works. So like I'm saying again, it's not about how good you cook. It's also about how you can connect emotionally, you know, so it's all about that. It's all about that. So yeah, I take it in my stride, where even today I'm invited to cook for possibly the biggest names the planet has ever produced. Yeah, and I take it in my stride, and I take it with pride. Let me tell you,
You know,
I don't
keeping
take it.
that.
I don't take it lying down. I
Correct.
take it with a lot of responsibility, which is very important.
So keeping that in mind, I want to ask you, which is that one title of a, or you know, achievement in your life that you feel the proudest about, even if it's not a huge success in the eyes of the world, but matters to you, like personally.
See, I think what matters to me is that the world does not call me Varun anymore, or they don't call me Varun Inamdar anymore. They call me Chef Varun Inamdar. You know, which is something that you have to earn. Just by telling 10 people, or, you know, telling 10 people in the media that, you know, write this in front of my name, call me
Yeah.
chef from tomorrow. It doesn't work like that because it has to come from within, and it has
Yeah.
to come from your team. It has to come from the people that have given you that title.
Correct.
And I possibly speak the strongest in my industry about something like this because this is a title which is so mellifluously used by anybody today. And I
True.
have my very, very, very firm foot on the ground when I say that this is not a word, it's a title. It's
Correct.
like saying my mother possibly gives me medicines. I
Hmm.
can't call her a doctor, right?
Yeah.
Just because your nephew or your niece makes paper planes, you don't
Yeah.
call them an astronaut or a
True.
aeronautical engineer
True.
or a pilot for that matter, right? These are
You
things that
work for it.
these are things that you have to stay in the industry and achieve.
Yeah.
So this is something that I take with a lot of pride. To the world, it could be a word, but for me, it's my profession. So I take it.
Wow, that's actually very commendable. So, this is something slightly off topic, and I'm not very sure about it, which is why I wanted to hear it from the horse's mouth. That
You
we're
got me
all very,
horse.
I'm just saying directly from a chef. We're very well versed with the ongoing debate about nepotism in the film industry. Has nepotism ever been an issue in the culinary industry?
See, more than nepotism, I think the culinary industry works on gangism.
Okay,
So
okay,
they all have your circles. They all have their gangs,
right,
which kind of are projected towards each other at times. And our industry loves to work in a closed circuit,
right,
which is very dysfunctional at times. It is not a very hand in hand kind of a situation. So, this is something which works in our industry,
right,
not for the rightest of things, let me tell you.
okay,
Also, let me tell you one more thing. When I started off, a lot of chefs in our industry took pride in the fact that they are of Punjabi origin.
okay,
Like you can take the topmost names that come in your mind, and they would all be a Punjabi.
right,
And a lot of them made a joke of this. And I remember this joke also happened at a very coveted award function, at an awards night. I was in the front row, and this joke was happening on stage. And they
right,
were talking about how, chefs are only Punjabis and this and that and blah, blah, blah. And that they had this wonderful time on stage cracking their own jokes.
correct.
And as luck may have, the next person on stage that was invited to give away an award was Varun Inamdar.
Yeah,
So I go on stage, I look at them and I say, "You forgot a Maharashtrian."
right.
So it's like that. So these are these things which could be a stigma
Hmm,
attached to an industry, but it's all about how the industry kind of takes it. So it's all about
correct.
that eventually. So not nepotism, but yeah, gangism for sure.
Thank you. Okay. So that's something new which I think a lot of us mustn't have heard of because I'm pretty sure, because you're technically a part of it, you know it. Again, coming back to you and your entire journey, till date, what has been one of the most challenging projects that you've worked on in relation to food?
I think the most challenging project I have worked till date on would be my achievement of being a Guinness World Record holder.
Mm.
I think possibly a lot of planning that has gone into something like this because this is not like everyday baking or this is not like everyday cooking. We
Correct.
planned this for almost a year and a half, keeping quiet, keeping mum about the entire behind the scenes because right from thinking about it, right from initiation of this entire thing, right up to execution, and then having a wait time of 3 months to figure out whether it was actually a positive or a thumbs down.
Right.
I think this entire period of 15 to 18 months has been nail biting and has been phenomenal. Let me tell you, it's been phenomenal. If if
Correct.
if nothing less.
So, now I just want to state a little fact about you. And people who know you up close and most of your fans because of all your posts also know that you're a huge Bollywood buff.
True.
Didn't you ever feel like you should try and get into the film industry?
Oh, no, never.
Never?
I'm very happy. Never. See, if I wouldn't have been a chef, I would have definitely done something in films, not maybe on camera, maybe off camera. I would have done something, for sure. Something with connects to the media, I would have done for sure. Maybe not. I never harbored the dream of seeing myself on a 70 screen. But yeah, something I would have done, sure.
Now that you are a chef, what are your views on Bollywood's representation on chefs?
I think it's very shallow, let me tell you, because it's not represented rightly. It's shown about, it's shown very differently from what the reality is all about. See, but I do not blame the films for it, because films are a very aspirational medium.
Got
it. Right? You want people to watch things on screen and say, wow, I wish I could do that. Correct. Or I wish my life was like that. I wish I could romance like that. I wish I could sing like that. I wish I could play like that. Right? True. So I don't blame it, because it's all about creating that world of dreams and aspirations. When you walk into a cinema house, you want to just forget your worries. You just want to be drawn into that world of cinema. Correct. True. And you want to enter that whole candy floss medium. You want to become part of. See, when you watch a film, like, if you watch something like, say, Dilwale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge, I want to know what happened after the train left the station. Yeah. I want to know what happened to Raj and Simran. Correct. Right. In Hum Aapke Kaun, I want to know what happened when Prem picks up Nisha eventually and walks out of the frame. Yeah. So it's like that. So, you live the medium. Yeah. So it's like that. So I don't blame cinema for something like this. Correct. So, as you said, you started off cooking, or like, the entire dream of becoming or doing something related to culinary came into you at a very young age. Sure. And I'm not very sure about this fact, but I do know for a fact that a lot of Indian parents are definitely sure that to be successful in life, you finish your college, get a degree, and you're successful. That's it. There's nothing after that. What would you sort of tell those kids and their parents whose kids who want to get into the culinary industry? See, the first thing that I would like to tell everybody, whether it's a student or a parent or a guardian for that matter, the first thing is to let a child breathe. Because eventually it's not about telling them what your dreams are about them. Right. It's about letting the child dream on their own. Because that's when the true self comes out. Because today, if I, for example, Sandili, if I tell you, Sana, you have to do hotel management. Right. Right. You have to do this because of XYZ reasons. Or, I also know a lot of parents and guardians who could not achieve their dreams. And they now just kind of push their dreams and say that, I couldn't become a doctor, so you have to become a doctor. Correct. It doesn't work like that. I couldn't become a cricketer, so you have to kind of wake up at 7 in the morning and go all out and play cricket with your friends and get professional guidance and training and things like that. Doesn't work like that. You have to allow a child to breathe primarily. Two, I want to break this big myth and this big bubble about hotel management being a cakewalk. It is not a cakewalk. Right? It is not only about cutting, chopping onions and cooking food. Hotel management is a whole surround sound padding about knowing front office, knowing housekeeping, knowing food and beverage, knowing accountancy, knowing foreign languages, knowing IT. Yeah. And this is all besides knowing food. Yeah. So, and it's a very different ballgame. I know a lot of parents, and I meet almost around 5,000 plus students every year, because I, of course, meet students across the globe when I go and conduct master classes for them. Correct. You know, a lot of parents also come to me and say, I want my child to do hotel management because he got a very low score.
Hmm.
Because he cannot be absorbed by other streams and other mediums. We think hotel management is the way out for them. कि कुछ नहीं करेगा तो hotel management कर लेगा.
Correct.
It doesn't work like that, because I know a lot of students. My batch, for a simple example, we started as I think 72 students. By the time I finished hotel school, we were only 40 plus minus. It's like that because it just kind of breaks the bubble. It just kind of breaks the myth, because it's not easy. It's not easy at all.
True.
And you get to know about this from the first day itself.
Correct. So, now that you've said that, it's not easy, it's not, it cannot be your plan B. It has to be something you're completely dedicated to.
True.
We all know how dedicated you are to your job and put in efforts not only professionally but also personally.
Sure.
What are those few things that you dislike about your job but have to deal with because you don't have a choice?
See, food is very subjective. This is something that upsets me because there is no one thumb rule to kind of denote quality. There is no barometer for quality, or there's no barometer for taste. So I dislike the fact that some people just keep names and say, oh, I didn't like their Varun because they put this and they put that and I put this in my Varun. So this is something that, has to change, because food has to be adapted. Food has to be accepted. Food has to be respected. Whether it's your ghar ka khana or mere ghar ka khana.
Correct.
And it has to be different, because that's where variations come in. Right? So yeah, that's how it works.
Okay, great. Now, finally, we come to the last question of the interview, not the games. If you had a platform like Clymbe growing up, how do you think it would benefit you?
Oh, I'm sure it would benefit me for sure, because when we were growing up, we unfortunately were not digitally connected. Right? We did not have anybody to guide us. We did not have anybody to kind of instill the kind of faith that we would have in a chosen career, or in a career path that we could possibly aspire to grow into.
Correct.
I'm sure with a platform like this, it opens up avenues, not only for students, but also for parents, because you suddenly get a platform where professionally you would be guided in the right direction. And I wish I could just go back in time and wait for a platform like this to guide me and say, okay, Varun, so you can choose this because this will kind of fan you like that, or you can choose that because that would fan you like that. Because unfortunately, when we were growing up, our parents did not even have the bandwidth to tell us which college to choose and which to avoid. We were never told that somebody would ask you, oh, which college are you from? And we never had that whole aspiration of telling people, oh, I'm from Xavier's, or I'm from JJ, or I'm from X, or I'm from Mitibai. All we were told is, boss, 10+2, and you will get whatever you want.
Yeah.
So it's all about that. So I'm very happy that platforms like these are around today. Also because these platforms digitally connect the entire world. So I'm sure this would benefit me for sure.
Great. So now most of the serious part is over. And now we want to see that side of you that I see when you come home over the weekends, and I get a nice break from all the studies and everything. And we've got a little quick rapid fire kind of a segment for you where you need to answer like really quick.
Okay.
As a chef, as Varun uncle, basically. So the first thing that I want to ask you is one thing you hate about being a chef.
About being a chef, what I hate or what I dislike, hate is a very strong word. What I dislike is that your profession is subject to a lot of ideologies of different people. Okay. This is something that I hate.
Okay. The funniest myth that you were told or taunted about your career choice.
That is going to be very easy.
Really? Okay. One line that would define your love for the career you've picked.
Passion is everything, is what people say, but I think perseverance is everything.
Okay. Which is the favorite, your personal favorite cuisine to cook?
Southeast Asian.
Wow. Okay, that's something you have to make for me soon.
Done.
One dish you're super bored of making all the time.
I'm super bored of. I don't
Yeah.
think I can ever be bored of cooking anything.
Really?
Nothing, nothing, nothing.
Wow. Okay. One each pros and cons of having a boss like you to work under.
Nightmarish.
Really? And what's the pros?
One word says it all. That is my biggest pros and that's my biggest con.
Okay. Now, quick, would you rather, as a chef, would you rather exclusively either be the Prince of Chocolates or be the Bombay chef?
Son, I'll slap you now.
You have to pick.
Uh, Prince of Chocolates.
Great. Yes.
And
Have a
that was
hair.
very tough. That was very tough.
I know. It was made sure to put
I'll
in.
tell you why that was tough also, because they have both given me recognition in very different ways,
Correct.
right? But yeah, something that is very dear to me is the Prince of Chocolates, because I know I have struggled a lot to get that appellation to my name.
Right.
So yeah, that's why I chose that. And I was actually thinking, why? So yeah.
So the next question is like a total Sandili move that I'm going to pull on you. So I hope you had expected this. Have a hair found in a perfectly made dish or have a recipe completely gone wrong?
Oh yeah.
Which one?
Yeah. Both.
No, you have
Yeah,
to pick one. Which one would you rather have happened to you?
I would rather have a dish completely going wrong.
Really?
Yeah, because I'll tell you, a lot of experiments in the kitchen actually turn around on their heads and give you a dish. But a hair found in food,
Huh.
oof,
It's like the
it's like,
ultimate.
yeah. And having said all of that, I'm somebody who finds a piece of hair in my food. I find stones, I find glass, I find band-aids, I find thread, I find nails, I find bolts. I think I'm jinxed with people who cook for me with love and care, because by default, I have to just turn the bowl and say, listen now, didn't want to embarrass, but have a look.
Yeah.
And then people go all out and they say, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Oh God, this shouldn't have happened. Who cooked it? And blah and blue. So yeah, I would always choose a dish completely going wrong as the option.
And the last one, would you prefer having a biopic made on your life or having your own school which teaches your specialized cuisine?
My own school, any day.
Great. Amazing. So this was sort of the end of it.
You know what, Sandili, you deserve a slap.
But more is left. So you have to keep all your slaps for the end.
Okay.
So
Done.
now we've got like a little segment which I told you about called Now Your Turn, where you could ask me questions that you probably have in mind in reference to the Gen Z.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I? Okay.
Yeah.
What should I ask? Okay, let me put you in a spot.
Okay.
A lot of people think of the Gen Z as the Gen ZZZ, which is like the emote icon for snooze.
Yeah.
How does the Gen Z react to something like this?
Personally saying, I would agree to it. We're not socially aware, we're social media wise aware about things. So if it's over Instagram, we know it. If it's probably happening over Times of India, most of us are too busy on Instagram seeing what's going on. I could be wrong. I could get at for saying this, but I think we are the Gen ZZZ to some extent.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
You have one more questions?
Yeah, like one more maybe.
How do you all take fads and trends and things which are trending on, say, social media. How do you all take that as career options? Do you all take that with a pinch of salt? Do you all take it in your stride? Do you all really give it a thought? Or do you all let it pass by and say, chuck it?
I think social media in general, or the Gen Z in general, has so many different kinds of mindsets that a very large chunk of that group sort of is just like, okay, let's see it, enjoy for the sake of it, and we're done and dusted. But there are a lot of kids who actually, like, how do you get a trend? Because of some, kid who's done it.
True.
And there are people who want to follow that kid and make a trend of their own, hoping to get some fame out of it or whatever.
But Sana, I completely agree with what you say. But I also kind of have a thought on this where, getting famous in today's times is possibly the easiest.
Yeah, true.
Right? You can just put your foot in the door and that could make you viral.
Correct.
Right?
But
so
again, there's like this very broad sort of perspective nowadays, because as easy it is to get famous, it's also very difficult to get famous. It's easy to come up. It's difficult to come up with something, and once you've come out with that something, then it's easy to get famous.
But in today's times, when you say that, it does not even take 30 seconds to replicate what somebody's done in today's times. Like literally so. Like if me as a man, if I can just cut my one sleeve and walk on the street, possibly 10 people will take a picture, 10 people will take a video, they'll get me all over the place. There'll be at least 50 people trying to ape that, try to copy that. And that will fade out in 3 days.
Yeah,
right?
Very true.
So I completely agree when you say it's very easy to get famous, but it's also very difficult to sustain that kind of fame.
Correct. Yeah.
And people today can get famous by anything. It doesn't have to be anything serious. It doesn't have to be anything credential.
Correct. It can be anything at all.
Yeah, it can be anything, absolutely.
So now I've got this last little, like a super tiny segment for you. Okay. And it is something that I've seen you and my dad do all the time.
And that is? We do a lot many things.
React to a Bollywood dialogue or a song to the following situations that could possibly take place in your kitchen.
Okay.
So the first one that I have is burning the main dish.
Burning the main dish? And you want me to tell you a dialogue?
How would you react to it with either a Bollywood dialogue or a song that comes to your head?
See, if something burns in my kitchen, my first thing would be, kitne aadmi the? How many are involved in this entire scandal? Because like I said, I could be a nightmarish boss. So, kitne aadmi the? Simple.
The second one is running out of ingredients for something.
Bhag Basanti. It's actually Bhag Danno.
Yeah. Cutting yourself while chopping something.
Cutting yourself? Hey Ram.
Getting a promotion.
Getting a promotion? It would be Ja Simran Ja.
You as a boss telling your...
Yeah. Because for me, getting a promotion is as good as Ja beta, aaj ghar ja, so ja. You've done what you've achieved. So.
And finally, nailing a tricky dish.
Nailing a tricky dish should be Yahoo!
Or another one which I think you could give a great reaction to is dealing with a tricky customer, which I'm sure you have many times. And had great responses.
Dealing with somebody who has been an irate or who's been really irritating, let me use that word, was my second name. I could do that very well. So
yeah.
So for me, it's always a Yahoo situation.
Of course. Perfect. So that was the end of it. And I think we've had an amazing point of view and perspective from not only somebody who has given us advice as a chef, but also as an older person super close to the with a very broad mindset. And I'm very glad we had you come on our show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Today's episode was not only insightful but super interesting. It helped us get a quick sneak peek into the real world of culinary. Just how a climb helps us get a sneak peek into all the different kinds of careers. So to know more, visit our website and join in and become a member. Hurry up you guys, only 500 slots available. Until then, stay curious, stay happy and keep discovering and watch me on That Gen Z show. We have many such conversations coming up, so stay tuned and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Please write to us in the comments down below. I'm waiting.